Randy. According to a Canadian study, 86% of us deal with warring egos that cause clashes in the workplace. And that's where this gentleman comes in. Ram Sundaram is here to help us understand the causes and, of course, help us cope with what happens when egos clash. And I guess, first of all, Ram, how do you define, I guess, an ego?
I'd say the ego is just about self-awareness. You know, I am an individual being. Yeah. I'm alive. That's really all the ego is.
Okay.
And so it's not a negative thing in itself, but then we let that idea consume us and we get self-absorbed in a sense. And especially in a workplace where you need to work together as a unit, it tends to be counterproductive.
Yeah, I bet. So how do you do that? If you have, one type of ego clashing with another type of ego and you're trying to get, say, some sort of project done, how do you deal with that?
The trick is, I realized that when writing the book, is that there are actually two kinds of egos.
Okay.
There's the individual ego we talked about, then there's a collective ego.
Oh.
And an example of that would be, say, a married couple or a nuclear family, cities, countries, religions. Anytime you're part of a group and you have something defining you. So workplace would be a collective ego too. And if you can learn to think of your co-workers as a part of you as opposed to being like a separate ego, then it becomes easier to kind of have that empathy and understand what it is they're trying to say to you.
Okay, and so the book that I was talking about is called I Am Me. I'm just going to show the cover here as we continue to talk about this. Now, this is a collection of stories, and I Am Me is a unique collection where the stories are told from two different perspectives, right? And from front to back and back to front in the book, which is really interesting. Yeah. Now, how did writing this book connect you with the kind of different type of egos that you're talking about this morning?
Well, when I started writing it, it wasn't supposed to be a two-way book. I was just writing, I wanted to write 10 short stories that mirror the journey that we each take as individuals from birth to death. And then after I wrote the first draft, the stories just felt incomplete to me. Okay. And I realized it's because I was looking at one half of the picture, that being the collective. The individual. So I wanted to look at the collective now. So I took the exact same 10 titles or concepts and then rewrote each one from a collective perspective.
Okay, and getting back to the problems at work, how does thinking of the collective ego improve, or I guess remove, the warring individual egos?
Well, I think it was Kipling who said that the strength of the pack is the wolf, but the strength of the wolf is the pack. It's the whole idea that the collective serves the individual just as much as the individual serves the collective. So if you and I work together and we get into a conflict, I'm going to think there's my side and there's your side. When actually there's my side and there's our side, because it's in my best interest to know what your intentions are and your motivations are. Yeah. So if you can just take that barrier down and connect with the other person, think of them again as a part of you, it makes it a whole lot easier.
Take a step back and rethink the process, right? Absolutely. As opposed to two sides duking it out.
Absolutely.
All right, good stuff. Thanks, man. Thank you for coming in this morning. Really appreciate it. Again, the book is called I Am Me, if you want to check it out. We still have a lot to come this morning on Breakfast Television. We're going to find out more about the Scotiabank Calgary Marathon happening on Sunday. Mike County standing by, but first we're going to check in with Dave Will now for a traffic update.